Hi, this is Lori Johnson with Hancock Whitney Bank, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Visit localleadersthepodcast.com for previous episodes or for information on appearing on the show.
Hey everyone, it's Jim Chapman with Local Leaders, the podcast, and I want to make you aware of a fantastic deal they have going on right now at Fit Body Boot Camp in Denham Springs, Louisiana. If you go to the link getfitdenhamsprings.com/local leaders, you can get $30 off of the regular price of $129 for 30 days of classes. Go to the link, click it, sign up. 30-day classes for only $99 through that link. It's a special deal offered to all of our listeners at Local Leaders, the podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Local Leaders, the podcast. And the lady sitting across from me, you may be familiar with, you may not be familiar with, but hopefully after today, you're going to know all about her business, Tenor Florals, Miss Jane Gaspard. Welcome to Local Leaders, the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm excited to talk all about flowers today. An interesting subject, and believe it or not, 150-something episodes, I've never had a florist on my show. Several inquire, but never had anyone actually come on. So I'm as excited as you are, I guess, for this one.
I'm definitely eager to get the name out there, and I'm glad I was able to come and meet with you.
100%. Now, you are originally from Orange, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Where is Orange, Texas, for those that may not know?
It's right across the state line. It's that first little town that you drive through before you get to Beaumont. Everybody knows where Beaumont is,
Yes.
but nobody really considers that first little town.
Yes.
Because that's something you just drive right on through.
When I think of Beaumont, for some reason, I think of George Strait. I don't know why that is. I think he might have had a song or
Walker's
something.
from Vider.
Really?
And that's where
Okay.
I went to school.
Yeah. Oh, so all that.
So Tracy Bird, Clay Walker.
Do you sing country music?
Not that great at it. No.
I'm not going to make you sing on here.
No, please don't. I may have been in band, but I don't sing.
Right. I hear you. I hear you. So you are married to your husband, Blake.
Yes.
And you have a 2-year-old daughter you describe as full of spirit and sweetness.
Most days.
Look, I know the feeling. 2-year-olds, it's a great age though, because it's all about discovery at that time, right?
Yes.
Sometimes that's a bad thing, but it's
Her
all
new
about
words are amazing and delicious.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, that's better than some
and she
new
actually knows
words.
how to put them in a sentence and to what they go to.
Yes.
Like she'll say delicious for food, or her favorite thing is when she's on her swing and she's going high and she goes, "This is amazing."
What a great age. Yeah, I miss those days when from 2 to 22, it's like a blink, man. It goes so fast. So
Yeah, I'm about to be 28 in October. So
Yeah. Wow. And you actually moved here. Is your husband Blake from the Baton Rouge area?
He's actually from New Roads.
New Roads. Okay.
The New Roads
yeah.
area. Technically Bachelor, so a little north of New Roads, but still in Poincapie Parish. His dad was a farmer.
Okay. Awesome. So y'all moved to Baton Rouge at some point in time, or?
He was living in Baton Rouge when I met him and going to LSU.
LSU, go Tigers.
Going to LSU for business, and he ended up graduating in 2018 with his business degree.
Very good. Very good. So you move on down here, and we want to talk all about obviously Tenor Florals, but you got started off in the floral industry kind of early in life.
About 7 years old, yeah.
Yeah, and you were actually there's a good story to that. A guy named Scott Hasty. Mm-hmm. And tell us the story of how you got kind of introduced into the floral world.
So we had moved to Orange when both my grandmothers had health issues. So we moved to Orange to be closer to them. And my mom she went to school for interior design at UT. But when we went to Orange, she couldn't find an interior design job, kind of similar to what I went through when I moved to Baton Rouge.
Yes.
So she went to go work for a florist, and all she did was clean the buckets, clear out everything, all like the little part-time stuff.
Sure.
And most of the time she would have me tag along, and, well, Mr. Scott and Mr. Bubba would place me on the table, and, oh, bud broke off. Here's a carnation, or here's a rose, or here's a daisy, and just throw it at me and teach me my colors and teach me what the flowers are. And it was just really fun going there. And then I'd play hide and seek in the cooler with them. And when they'd find me by a certain flower, they would tell me what it was and everything about it.
Oh, wow. So you got that bug early in life.
Yes, I did. And my grandma has had the biggest green thumb. I mean, her garden was always gorgeous. She kept up with it. And I always, when we'd go see her, I'd help her out.
Yeah, fantastic. At the age of 7, and you knew all the blooms and buds and all those kind of things. They were kind of teaching you mentally.
They were teaching me that, and my grandma was teaching me that when she was in her garden.
Fantastic. Now, you continued your love for kind of all things flowers throughout high school, and you eventually made it your way to Baton Rouge, as we discussed earlier. Your husband, Blake, from that area, and at some point, you decided to go into the interior design field.
I went to Lamar University right out of high school and started my degree for interior design. I was a year and a half from graduating. I had my internship lined up, everything, and then Lamar decided to cut the degree. Because,
nice.
Beaumont area, focus on engineering because of all the plants out there.
100%, yeah. A lot of industry out that way, similar to Baton Rouge. And
so
the plants
they cut the funding for the Family and Consumer Science Department and sent it to engineering.
Oh, my.
Then I took a year off, and, well, funny thing is, my best friend signed me up for a dating site.
Oh, there you go.
That's how I met Blake. So,
sometimes they work, right?
Yeah. And then when I moved out here, I couldn't find a job for interior design because you either have to have A, experience, or B, the degree.
Yeah.
And it can't be one or the other.
Right.
So I fell back on my hobby, and I applied for a job at like 5 different florists.
Yeah.
And Peregrine's was the one that hired me at first, and I learned a lot from him. And then
very well-known florist. Yeah.
Yes. And then after that, I went to go work for the plantation florist.
Yeah.
Out of Port Allen. And we went to White Magnolia. We went to Nottoway. I mean, mainly Nottoway.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Before Collie was over at her warehouse that she was at, she was stationed at, not stationed, but her shop was on Nottoway's premise.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
And then she broke off and became the plantation florist because she used to be the Nottoway plantation florist.
Yeah.
Then she broke off on her own and became the plantation florist.
Very good. And let me ask you this about that experience in that you work for 2 pretty well-known florists. Mm-hmm. How advantageous was it to work for them and kind of gain that early knowledge? I mean, you knew some stuff yourself.
Right. I knew the basics on my own, but working for Peregrines, I learned the daily stuff. How to run a daily shop and do the daily deliveries and the different sizes of arrangements and what to charge for them.
Yes.
But that was 4.5 years ago. So the prices from what I learned with Peregrines is different from what I charge now because, I mean, I've got 5 years of experience and I'm licensed. In the state of Louisiana, we have to be licensed to own a shop. And Louisiana is the only state that does that.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
If you want to own a shop, you have to be licensed through the ag department, and then you have to have like 4 different permits and everything like that.
Gotcha. So you can't just go open up a florist.
No,
You've got to have some
have all the credentials for it.
Interesting. And that can be a good thing, I guess. It keeps people that maybe aren't as educated, I guess, in the floral world from just, sometimes that can run down an industry when you water it down too much.
We have too many designers that think that they can just be their own, and then that just makes us look bad when one person has a bad arrangement. That just gives the whole floral industry a bad name.
Yeah, they assume everybody's like that sometimes. So exactly right on that. BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Now, you bring kind of an interesting talent, in my opinion, to the table as a florist because of your interior design experience that you have and education behind you. They kind of go hand in hand, right?
They do, because of all the techniques for design. They apply to interior design as well as floral design, color concept, color theory, everything like that. You have to have it all aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
Whether it's in the shape, the design, the container that it's in, the type of flowers that you use, how big, how small, how wide or long. It all is about where you're placing it.
That's right.
So say it for interior design aspects, you're buying a new lamp. You don't want this big chunky lamp like that would be about as big as this table on a table this size.
Right.
Same goes for a flower arrangement. You don't want something long. I mean, if you do something long, it's got to be narrow.
Yeah.
So maybe no more than 6 to 7 inches wide going down the middle. And technically, I would use a garland for something like this.
Yeah.
Or you do a small arrangement and you don't go over chin height. So people can still see over the arrangement.
And see, I love that because let me tell you why that education is so important in the things that she just mentioned. And incidentally, color theory, you're 100% right. And me coming from a paint world, and I was an outside sales rep for a paint company for many years, and I was pretty much a master in color theory because it's all I ever dealt with, right? In the paint business. But very important to know all the aspects of what you just mentioned, because me as just a guy that didn't, outside of holidays, I don't get flowers all the time. So, I would not know what to pick out from what I know. What's pretty. I can look at something and say, wow, that's a beautiful arrangement of roses, for example. But I would be someone that would come in there and ask you questions and say, okay, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm thinking. Can you make any recommendations?
Those are actually the questions I ask.
Yeah.
When somebody says they want a big arrangement, I'm like, okay, what type of person is it going to? What's their personality? Because I want to incorporate, if they're a fun type of person, I want fun flowers. Or if they're a very elegant type of person, you do lilies and roses and hydrangeas.
Yeah.
But if they're fun, I would use snapdragons and irises, and I would use some roses, but also some bells of Ireland because they just stick up. And what I do with them is there's a little trick. Bells love light.
Yeah.
And if the light's right above them, they'll just stick straight up. So what I do is I stick them under a table.
Yeah.
And they end up curling. So they'll curl around the table, so they'll have that nice, unique wave, and each one of them is different.
Interesting.
So I don't just put straight up bells in there.
Right.
I make it to where they are curled.
Yeah. So you put a lot of thought into this, obviously.
And then there's bear grass, lily grass, and aspidistria leaves. I love to fold them up and make them into little loops. The St. Patty's Day order was one that I used lily grass for. And I made it look like it's very thin, but it's a 4-leaf clover.
It's beautiful. And what I want you to do with that, text that to me because I can make it pop up while we're talking about this. So
definitely.
Everybody can see
I'll send you samples of all the stuff I can do that's unique like that. I paint the hydrangeas, so that way it looked like a little painted pot of gold.
Love it. And folks, we're going to pop some pictures up of all the stuff not all the stuff she does, but a lot of the stuff she does.
Good samples.
And that
of what
way,
I can do.
visuals. And that's a great thing about a podcast is you can actually make that stuff pop up where people can see what we're talking about.
Exactly.
But very good that your education impresses me. You obviously know your business. So important because most people, and I'm sure you get your ladies in there, maybe even your men that kind of know their flowers like the back of their head, but I would probably say that at least 50% of the people, they don't know. It's Valentine's Day. I need a dozen roses kind of thing. And
most of my clientele, they know what they want, or they send me inspiration pictures of what they want.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And then there's some that are, I know my flowers, but I trust you. I want it just as gorgeous as usual is what I get a lot.
I would totally trust you.
I trust you on what you want. That's what they tell me.
I'd be like, just make it pretty.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I get it 100%. Now, you kind of go off in the job market, and you mentioned that you work for some well-known florists, and obviously that what they taught you was valuable because they taught you kind of the business side of the flower business. There's a lot of people that can be experts in whatever field they're in, but if they've never actually run a business, that's where the benefit of working for someone else comes in.
Joel, he taught me the daily stuff, and then working for Collie, I learned everything weddings.
Yeah.
Weddings and events I learned from Collie.
Okay. Go Collie.
Yeah.
Way to go. So in 2020, you made the move to Watson, Louisiana, and you have a pretty interesting story into what led you into opening Tenor Florals in Watson. So tell us what eventually led to you kind of taking that proverbial jump.
So we decided to move out to Watson because of the school district. So because Live Oak was rated pretty high, we moved out to Watson.
Yeah.
But the only thing was childcare.
Yeah.
Having to pay somebody to go watch for Camille. My husband had just started a new job at State Farm. No, sorry. He wasn't at State Farm at that time. He was in between jobs.
Gotcha.
And then he went to All-Star Ford, and now he's with State Farm.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had a good bit of walk-in traffic, and those ladies that walked in that December that I first opened, they have been my number 1, 2, 3, and 4 customers.
Oh, wow.
They order very regularly, and then they've been sending people my way as well.
Well, and that was going to be one of my questions was, do you have regulars, customers
Yes,
that you see a lot, or which is a great thing because again, us as I would imagine as most guys, but us as guys, we think, holidays is when we buy flowers, right? But there are regulars in the floral business.
They are. And then the third month open, we were coming out of those regulations bit by bit for COVID. So I went and signed up for the hometown marketplace over at North Park.
Yep.
And that's where I met a good bit of people that are my regulars now.
Yes.
Jordan Courtney.
Yeah.
Being one of them. He is one of my regulars.
Come on.
Peyton.
That's Peyton's husband.
Yes, sir.
Peyton teaching him well.
Peyton sends me people all the time. Her arrangements go to her shop, Adele Lane Spa and Boutique.
Yes.
And I mean, people go in there, they get their facials, they'll just get their boutique clothes and everything like that.
They can get anything, just about.
Exactly.
Good conversation,
and they
whatever.
see my flowers, and Peyton and all her girls over there and tell them, oh, it came from Tenor Florals. You have to go check them out. They'll say a few people, or they'll say, I saw it at Adele Lane.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, it's, I saw it at Adele Lane.
Yes.
And then there's Miss Bridget Rowe. She sends everybody to me. And there's a few others that do the same thing. Well, and
referral business is about the best form of advertising you can get.
Exactly.
When people vouch for you, it speaks to who you are. It speaks to your work, all of those things. So, huge compliment when anybody refers somebody for anything, really.
Right.
But in your business, there's competition out there. I mean,
I'm the 5th florist in Denham.
Yeah. So
yeah, there's a lot of competition, especially in our little bitty town of
100%. Sandra Richard has been in the business of selling homes for over 20 years. This award-winning realtor brings the perfect blend of professionalism, integrity, and client satisfaction to every buying and selling transaction. A passion for both her clients and her community makes Sandra the perfect choice when buying or selling your home. So if you're in need, call the Cajun Lady, Sandra Richard, at 225-955-5484, or visit her on the web at sandrasellshouses.com. Sandra Richard, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Now, one of the things I really liked when I read over your questionnaire is that you were a debt-free business, right? And while you list that as a difficult thing to maintain, in my opinion, being debt-free is one of the best ways in which you can kind of get through the slower periods.
Right, but when it comes to bigger weddings, and I have been booking a lot of bigger weddings, it's the growing pains from that.
Yes.
Because I build it up. It starts at nothing for the month, and then I build it up, pay for everything, pay for my flower costs, pay for all my utilities, my rent, everything, and then I'm left with a little bit at the end. Then the next month I'm building it up even more again, and there's a little bit more at the end of each month, but it's those growing pains.
That's right.
That not having that loan to back me on everything, it makes it hard.
It does. But in the end, I'll say it's a great thing in the end for any business, because most of your businesses that you see that don't succeed, things happen in life, and there's slow periods, or you have a COVID or something, you pick a tragedy, hurricane, whatever, and your business is shut down for 3 weeks, and people that have loans, they're paying a bunch of debt during that time and have nothing coming in.
And speaking of hurricanes, with Hurricane Ida hitting last year, I had a wedding that still happened a week and a half later.
Yeah.
And then I had another bride, she booked me 9 days before her wedding because her florist canceled on her due to damage to their shop.
Yeah. I mean, those things happen. Look, we had a nice storm here. I was out of electricity for a week and a half. After Ida, I was out of electricity 2 weeks.
I can't say I wasn't without power after Ida.
Yeah.
That shopping center, with it being so close to Demco, we had power.
Oh, very good.
So we spent most of our days at the shop.
Yeah.
Because that's where we had AC, so we didn't have to run the generator so hard.
No doubt.
We had 2 generators. My dad gave us one to borrow, and then we had his dad's.
Very good.
So one was running the AC unit for the 1 bedroom we had to keep cold, and then the deep freeze.
Very good. Now, tell us about you mentioned brides and bridal shows and things like that. How beneficial are markets and bridal shows to your business? I know you mentioned one in particular. Yeah.
Yes, this last one I did at the Bennett Barn over in Zachary. I have never filled a bridal interest sheet where I have them fill out all their information. I filled up 25 slots.
Wow.
The most I've ever done is 15. And that's even at the big bridal shows, like at Homa's house. I had 15 brides sign up and 5 booked.
Yeah.
But this last one at the Bennett Barn, I had 25 brides sign up and 12 have booked.
Wow. Amazing.
So numbers wise, that doesn't sound like a whole bunch, but that's almost 50% of the amount of brides that showed that they were interested book with me.
Very good.
And I still have some that I reached out right after the bridal show. They didn't reach back out immediately, but they are now. Fantastic. Because it's getting closer to their wedding day.
That's right.
And they're realizing that vendors are booking up really, really fast. I've had to turn down a few because I already booked a wedding for that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and with that comes peace of mind, and when you get those bookings and all of those sorts of things. Now, another event, you mentioned the Bennett Barn, a big success for you. It actually booked out the rest of your year, right?
Doing that bridal show, yeah.
Yeah.
It did, and then it also got me starting to be about 25 to 35% booked for next year.
Wow. Very good.
Because of that one bridal show.
Fantastic. So those shows make a difference. Well, I'm sure you're thinking in your mind, man, that was money well spent getting those booths.
Definitely it was.
Yeah. So give us the 30-second kind of elevator pitch of all things Tenor Florals has to offer, because you're much more than just a dozen roses, right?
Right. So we do more than just your regular rose arrangement. We do custom orders. We do unique designs. We do parties, events, baby showers. That's the new biggest thing. You got to have flowers for baby showers. I just had 3 ladies book with me this morning, and that's why my phone just went off too. I had another lady message me about booking for her baby shower.
Yeah.
I did a wedding on Saturday, and the photographer, she needs flowers for her baby shower this June. So baby showers are a big thing for flowers. I do weddings, and weddings are, I mean, possibilities are endless on what I can do.
Yeah.
I have basic packages where I do your personal flowers for $800 to $900. That's covering your bridal bouquet, bridesmaids bouquets, boutonnieres, corsages, petals down the aisle, and possibly a ceremony centerpiece.
Yeah, very good.
And those start at between $800 to $900.
William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast.
And then I have my other packages that start at $2,500. So that covers your ceremony and your reception.
Yeah.
From basically everything that I said about the personal package to table centerpieces, buffet centerpieces, designs down the aisle, everything.
Excellent.
And I also have silk rentals. So if you're a bride on a budget, I have those available too. So we have the boho elegance package where it's blushes and mauve and palmetto leaves and pampas grass, and that is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Pampas grass. I'm having pampas grass shipped in all the way from Dallas from a wholesaler because I'm out of fresh pampas grass.
Right, right.
And then I have the white floral elegance package and the blush package. So those all start at $2,500.
Yeah.
And that's just for your basics. No candles, no other rentals. That's just the basics. Now, when you want to add in all that other stuff and fresh greenery and garlands and mantelpieces, that makes the price go up.
Sure.
But it goes up probably to $3,500, and that's with delivery, setup, and pickup.
Excellent. Now, what about funeral arrangements?
I do those as well. I typically like to do, when I do a casket piece, I make it more of a garden theme, not your traditional rounded dome. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, that's what everybody else does.
Yeah.
I don't do what everybody else does.
Right.
I like making it look like a garden. So you'll have some flowers tucked in farther than others. You'll have the filler flower look like it's just growing out of everything. And the greenery, it has a nice little skirt of greenery like it's sitting in a bed of grass.
Gotcha.
There is no greenery sticking out of it unless they specifically want it.
Fantastic. And you also offer like candles, things like that?
I do. I have a friend of mine that I went to school with in Viter. He makes candles. His company is called the Sal Jean Candle Company.
Okay.
And he makes really unique stuff.
Yeah.
My biggest seller was the High Tide candle. It had a little bit of a sweet smell, but a very clean smell.
Very good.
So like fresh laundry.
Yeah.
But with the hint of sweetness to it.
Yeah.
And I'm
love
sold
it.
out of that. But I still have the woodsy smell and then a cocoa butter cashmere one at the shop still.
Very good. And we haven't talked about delivery, but do you deliver?
I do. And right now it's just me. So if I get an order, it takes me about an hour to prep it, load Camille in the car because, like I said earlier, childcare is expensive. So Camille is with me at the shop.
Yes.
And I'm trying to work with her to be nice.
Hey, you're teaching her early. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then getting her loaded, and then we go on delivery.
Very good. Very good. Now, when I announced that you were going to be on my show, I had a couple of people text me questions or message me rather on Facebook, some questions that they were curious about. And one of them wanted me to ask you, what is your best advice for extending the life of roses?
So what you need to do to extend the life of rose is when you see that the water is getting kind of cloudy, you need to pull it out and give it a fresh cut.
You're talking snip the bottom
Yes,
of the rose.
snip
Gotcha.
the bottom, but you don't go flat. You make it at like a 45-degree angle, and then put in some fresh water.
Gotcha. And that'll extend the life. And I know some of them
Yes.
have like food or something.
You can always find flower food, or if somebody goes and buys you some grocery store stuff, grocery store flowers, there's always that flower food packet, and you don't need to really put the whole packet in there.
Yeah.
If somebody does that, then you can just pour just a little bitty bit in the roses that they might have purchased from me or any other florist.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of that flower food packet in it, and that'll extend the life.
There you go. So I hope that answered that question. And then also, what is your most popular arrangement?
My customs.
Your customs.
Yes. So most of them are named for the ones that sold the most.
Yeah.
Like for Valentine's Day last year. So my first Valentine's Day open. No, sorry. Let me correct that. Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
It was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I got it mixed up because Jordan's first order was Valentine's Day, and then Mother's Day happened.
Gotcha.
And he said, I want to send Peyton flowers anyway.
Yeah.
So I made them a basket arrangement. It had these unique lilies in it that are called rose lilies. They don't have the little stamen in it that produces the pollen.
Yeah.
So the people that are allergic to lilies but love lilies, I can get that for them.
Excellent.
So we had that, and so I called it the Adele Lane basket.
Oh, that's fantastic.
A lot of my stuff
I'm sure she loves that.
that is very popular is named after something I did for Peyton or named after Adele Lane. So that one was very popular. I ended up making 6 smaller versions of that because people saw it there and they said, I want the same one that they had at Adele Lane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, great. I can do that for you.
Yes, that's
so
fantastic.
it's my custom orders that are like that. And I'll be sending you some samples of them.
Yeah.
Especially that Adele Lane lily.
Yes. We need a local leaders lily. I like that.
We can do that.
So continuing on your business, you do a lot of interesting things that make you unique at Tenor Florals. One of those is you do ladies' night out classes. Tell us about that.
So we actually have one coming up on April 10th. I'm going to be putting an ad out on my Facebook page for that as well, where we are going to be designing a Easter wreath, or in some cases, if people don't want it to be just for Easter, it'll be a spring wreath.
Yes.
So we'll be designing a spring wreath. It's a little 14-inch wreath, and it's going to have all these pretty pastel colors. So I do that all the time. Oh, I haven't done it for a few months because weddings.
Right.
I've had 15 weddings already.
Yeah.
From January to now.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. It's been busy.
That's a good thing.
So we do wreath classes, fresh floral classes, and one thing I'm going to be bringing into this year is a silk class.
Oh,
so
good.
a little table centerpiece silk class. So we'll be doing that as well. I'm thinking possibly this summertime we'll be doing that one. So it'll have sunflowers and hydrangeas and bright colors in it.
Very good. Very good. So look out for that, for those ladies' night out classes. And you also offer theme weeks.
Yes.
Tell us about this concept.
So the themed weeks aren't like, okay, it's going to be based off of a movie or whatever. It's based off of what kind of flowers I decide on that Monday, because I'm normally closed on Mondays, so I can go to my wholesaler and figure out what I'm doing for the week.
Yes.
So we can have a pink week, which was last week, and we had pink carnations, pink roses, and it's not just one color of hot pink. It's a very light blush. It's a magenta, which magenta is kind of purple, but when you get a magenta rose in, it's more hot pink than magenta.
100%.
And then there's the hot pink. Then there's a light pink. I mean...
Oh, there's a million pinks.
I mean, I can send you or show you just pull up blush roses on your phone, or you can Google it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a wide variety of what color pink we're doing.
Yes. Very good.
And then I do painted hydrangeas.
Yeah.
That's my favorite to do.
Yeah.
Because I paint the hydrangeas to be not the colors you're used to.
Yeah.
Christmas time, I paint them red.
Yeah.
And we have a floral paint that doesn't harm the flowers at all. It kind of preserves them a little.
Yeah.
So and the painted hydrangea is $28.50 for a little hydrangea arrangement that's painted. I can either make it one color, I can make it gold, silver, multicolors.
Could you do
if you wanted a rainbow, I can make it a rainbow.
LSU colors, or company colors,
yes,
things like that. Awesome. Oh, I'm getting some ideas even in my head. That's very good. Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word. Now, let me ask you this. Obviously, in the world right now, there are supply chain issues everywhere, right?
Yes.
I know in the paint business, you can't even hardly get paint right now, according to the people I talk to. But also, every industry is getting affected. How about the flower industry?
For us, it's freight.
Yeah.
That's why our costs are having to go up, because normally a rose doesn't cost wholesale. Doesn't cost $1.90 a stem. It costs a little less sometimes. So that's why a few years ago, rose arrangements were like $65. Mm-hmm. Now they are anywhere between $75 and $90. Yes. Because of the cost.
100%.
This wedding I just did this past Saturday, wholesale rate, that rose cost me $2.50 a stem.
Well, and here's how I explain it to people. When you're relying on something to come to you via freight, for example, when gas is $4 a gallon versus $2 a gallon, they're not going to eat that cost. What they do is they charge a surcharge on their freight, or they just jack their cost up. Well, nobody can absorb that. So
right, and 9 times
all
out of
those
10,
costs
it's them
get
jacking the
passed
price
on.
up.
Yeah, and freight companies right now are almost double what they used to charge to freight things to you. So when your local, whatever it is, it has a price increase of some sort, it's not because they're trying to make more money. They're probably making less money.
It's us trying to cover the cost
Exactly.
of getting everything in. Like, my wholesaler's located in Port Allen.
Yeah.
So I drive to Port Allen every Monday morning to go get my flowers.
Yeah. And I mean, it costs you double, what it did 6 months ago, quite frankly. Yeah. So I get it 100%. Now, social media, great thing. I rely on it in my business. How critical a role has social media played in your business?
It actually has been my greatest benefactor.
Yeah.
Because 90% of my orders are through social media.
Yeah.
Last night I got an order from a regular. Hey, I know it's short notice, but can you bring me an arrangement today?
Yeah.
Like for today, Monday. Yeah. And I'm like, sure thing. And I'm in the middle of watching Raya and the Last Dragon with my 2-year-old. And I'm processing an order because it's on social media.
Yes.
It's through Facebook.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I'll
sit there and watch a movie with Camille on the weekend, and there we go. I'm processing 2 or 3 orders at one time.
Yes, and if you're not taking advantage of social media for your business, you really need to. It is one of the biggest tools now. People look at Facebook more than they do just about anything else anymore.
Oh, I know. The people reached stats for that post that I did about the wedding yesterday afternoon has reached almost 3,500 people.
Yeah, it's amazing.
In 18 hours of being posted. And that, for me, I know for some people that's nothing.
No, that's
for
huge
me
for
as
anybody.
a new business, and honestly, I don't have a sign yet, but I am working on getting a sign.
Yeah.
For it to reach that many people is huge for me.
Huge. No doubt about it. And speaking of people, you list several people as having a positive influence on both you and your business. Now, we mentioned earlier Scott Hasty, which is one that had a big effect on you early on. But you also listed both Tranisha Jackson as well as a 2022 local leading lady by the name of Peyton Courtney.
And now mother.
And now mother Peyton Courtney. Yes. Just had a beautiful baby girl.
Yes, she is.
You list both of these as having large positive influences on you. So just kind of take a minute and tell us about that.
So Scott Hasty, when I started off with my designs, I'd send them to him in a picture, and he goes, honestly, I can't tell you a good critique without seeing it in person, but he would still give me a critique on it and tell me I'm doing a good job, and he likes my designs, and now it's more of he loves my designs. That's where I get my uniqueness from, because if you look up Scott Hasty or J. Scott's A Florist, his designs are not your traditional designs.
Right.
So I learned just by watching him growing up and just following his designs how to make mine more unique.
Very good.
So he has always been a positive influence on that. And I mean, he's nationally accredited. He
Yes.
would travel up to Vancouver, all over the country, and teach classes on floral design.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm working on getting, just like doctors and everybody else, we have acronyms. Is that what it is? Yeah, we have acronyms that go behind our names.
Yes.
So my husband makes fun of this one. MF. It's Master Florist.
Master Florist.
So I'm working on that one. Then after that, there is the International Floral Endowment.
Yeah.
To be able to be a part of that one. Then there's the American Floral Institute of Design. So to get all three of those, that's years of being in the industry and working your butt off to be recognized like that.
Yes, yes. Very good.
And so that's my game plan is in 5 years, I want to get that Master Florist acronym behind my name. I would love to get the American Institute of Floral Design acronym behind my name. That's what a lot of people have. They have CF, Certified Florist, MF, AIFD, and then if they're really good, they have the IFE behind it.
Well, you're going to have that in no time, I'm sure.
I hope so. And as far as Trinisha and Peyton, Trinisha, she's been through a lot.
Yeah.
She lost her husband when their son was born. I think it was a little bit after Mason was born. He was a police officer. And so she's been raising Mason on her own.
Yeah.
And just as a mother, just to see that is an inspiration. And she's training him, and raising him to be the perfect little gentleman.
Yes.
And he is. I mean, when they come into my shop, Mason says, hi, and then goes on back to the playroom to go see where Cammie is.
Yes.
And then she also runs Chateau Lyle, which is a venue off of Greenville Springs in Baton Rouge. She runs a couple charities, and she works a regular full-time job on top of that.
Mover and a shaker.
Yes. So she's an inspiration just to be the better businesswoman that I can be.
Yes.
And the same thing goes for Peyton.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have something that comes up and I don't know what to say or, okay, how would I do this? I call Peyton.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, okay, Peyton, what do I need to do? How would I need to handle this as a business owner and everything like that? And she is great about giving that advice.
She really is. She really is. She's special individual.
Good friend too.
Yeah, very good. Well, shout out to both those awesome ladies and that gentleman for having a positive influence on your life in different ways. Dane Arnold with iTrade Exchange has been enabling small business in the Livingston Parish area to save cash through his network of over 300 participating Livingston Parish businesses. Saving cash by trading services with other exchange members is what iTrade Exchange is all about. For more information, contact Dane Arnold at 225-205-3640 or visit iTradeExchange.biz. And I also wanted to mention some promotions, some upcoming events you have. Very important. We want to mention those. You've got to paint a pot on April 9th.
From 9 to 11 at the shop, which is 7755 Magnolia Beach Road, Suite R. So when you go in
Broadway Place Shop.
Yes, when you go into the Broadway Place Shopping Center, I'm the only one without a sign.
Look for the one without a sign.
Exactly. Yes. Or look for the one with all the kids in front of it because I have 25 kids now signed up for it.
Okay.
And there's no limit on it. I just need to know ahead of time, hey, I'm bringing this amount of kids and I'll have the pots ready. So they get to paint 2 pots. And while those pots are drying, I'm going to have brownies and cookies and lemonade. I mean, kid-friendly foods.
Love it.
As long as I can keep my 2-year-old from eating them. And then after their paint is dry, they're going to scoop some dirt, and then they're going to plant their own little flower seeds and then be on their way.
Fantastic. And you're on April 10th, you have a ladies' night of design.
Yes. So for those that don't sign up, and they see that, because I'm going to advertise that at the Paint a Pot for all those mamas that are coming with their kids.
Yeah.
If they want to come and do that, I mean, sign-ups all the way up until Paint a Pot.
Love it. Love it. And then Mother's Day on May 8th, of course, a huge holiday.
Yes.
I would imagine that's busy for you.
It is. And on top of that, I've got a wedding the day before.
Oh, wow. You
For
like to
one of
stack it
my
on, huh?
Well, it's for one of my regulars, so I couldn't say no. I mean,
Right.
They're
you
a
take
great
care of
family.
those
I just
people
did.
that take care of you.
Right. And I just did her other son's wedding this January. And so now her youngest son is getting married Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah.
So I've got that. And then Mother's Day, the arrangements are all customs. If you want a rose dozen, okay, I'll do a rose dozen. But I push those customs because that's one way of being different from Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Everybody associates Valentine's Day with roses.
Yeah.
It's got to be a dozen rose arrangement. And Mother's Day is normally plants. People give plants.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll have some plants there.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the custom orders.
Very good. Very good. And you will be open on that Sunday.
Yes, I will.
12 o'clock.
Yes.
So be there or be square, as they say.
12 until I am sold out.
Until you're sold out. And then you also have a ladies' night of design on May 22nd.
Yes.
And tell us about that.
That is going to be a fresh flower arrangement. So we're going to have fresh sunflowers and yellow roses, or I'm kind of torn between yellow roses, or they're called shimmers.
Yeah.
And they're kind of orange, pink, and yellow, all kind of just blended together.
I've seen those.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I like those. I like yellow roses, too.
And it kind of looks
too,
coral, but it has some pink to it and that yellowy orange center. So I'm thinking that with sunflowers and some hydrangeas and then some little berries just sticking out.
Do they have purple roses?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Yellow and purple roses.
The last wedding I did at the Bennett Barn in February was nothing but purple.
Yeah.
I had purple roses. I had lavender roses. So there's some names for purple roses like Ocean Song. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a purpley pink.
Yeah.
But it goes really well when you have that deep purple and then the lavenders as well to go with it.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So, look, whatever you need, they can even paint them if you want.
No, I don't paint
roses. No, you don't paint roses?
No.
Good thing I brought that up.
You cannot determine how soon that rose is going to open by the time you need to paint it.
Oh, that's a good point.
And I have tried painting them before, and when you open them up, when you're painting them, they open up even more. Yeah. And if somebody wants a really dark color, like a dark blue, I can't put too much paint on it because otherwise it'll just flatten the rose and damage the petals and make it just too heavy and smell like paint. Yeah. Because when I do paint the hydrangeas, it's all about the drying process. Right. So I don't put them in the cooler to be sold until 2 days after I've painted them.
Gotcha.
That way we don't have that paint smell.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, don't paint your roses in pink. You heard it here first. And
it has to be a floral paint. It cannot be your regular paint.
Right. There you go. Yeah. So don't put no, regular paint on there.
No Krylon or Rust-Oleum on it.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Very good. Fit Blendz of Denham Springs can help you with everything from meal prep to supplements. I love it that they serve breakfast all day in addition to the best ultra healthy wraps you can really get anywhere in Livingston Parish. They are home of the $5 Smoothie Friday and are an amazing sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Fit Blendz Denham Springs, fast, fit food for you. Very good advice, and obviously you know so much about your chosen profession, and I think that's awesome.
And that's what throws people off because I'm 27. I'll be 28 in October.
Yeah.
Nobody really thinks that I'm the owner. When they walk in, they think I'm just the one working the front.
Right.
But no, it's me.
Right.
Everything
right.
is me. And some people haven't taken me really serious because of my age. So I let my work speak for itself.
100%. And I mean, you've been kind of doing it since you were 7 in one way or another.
I've been
so
around
you have
it
more
since I was
experience
7.
than most 50-year-olds,
Right.
to be honest.
I started putting bouquets together for homecoming. With being from Texas, we do the big homecoming parades and the mums and
Yeah.
everything. So I did the mums and the bouquets for parades.
Awesome.
So that's when I really got hooked on it, was putting those bouquets together for homecoming.
Awesome. Well, go see her. Let me ask you this. Do you have a website
I'm
yet?
working on doing a website.
Okay. Facebook you have.
Yes, Facebook and Instagram
Okay.
right now.
So you can even Google Tenor Florals on the Facebook. will come up.
Exactly. And when you pull up on my Facebook page, if you scroll through all my photos, if it's a regular arrangement, it should have a name on it. If it doesn't, I haven't come up with the name for it yet.
There you go.
So
Very good. Well, maybe you can have a contest at some point and have somebody name it. You never know. That might
yeah,
be something
that's a
kind of
good
cool
idea.
to do. Get you
do
some
a poll
interaction.
for
Yeah.
poll for names. Yeah,
I love it. I participate.
And right now, I've got 648 followers.
Yeah.
So for whoever gets me to 700 gets 15% off their next order.
Oh, there you go. 15% off your next order, number 700. So
And that,
go like her
and that goes
page.
the same for 800, 900. But if you get to 1,000, you get a little gift bag too.
Yeah, very
so you get 15%
good.
off and a gift bag if you get me to 1,000.
Awesome. So go give her a like on Facebook and check out her work. It's really beautiful, and you won't be disappointed. Now, we do fun facts on this show, and we're going to cover those real fast. I asked you if you purchased a yacht, what would you name it? And I can't even pronounce the first. Amaryllis?
Oh, the Amaryllis.
Amaryllis. I was
Yes.
close. Amaryllis Wave.
Yes.
I like that. It's fancy sounding.
It is, but also the Greek terminology for amaryllis means sparkling.
Okay.
So when you think of water, you think it sparkles in the sunlight and
Yeah.
everything like that. So
Very good. I love it. That's a great one. To be an interior designer is what you wanted to do when you were 12.
yes.
Yeah. And look, you're pretty much that now. You're just in the floral side of it.
My grandma handed me one year for before she passed when I was 13. She handed me a Oriental trading catalog.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember those.
And I saw this cool looking floor plan designer where you can design your own floor plan for a dollhouse.
Yeah.
And then it came with the parts to create the dollhouse.
Oh, very good.
And I think it was on Oriental Trading. She had a couple catalogs we
Yeah.
ordered Christmas stuff through.
Oh, yeah.
And she bought that for me, and I was hooked on it.
Awesome.
And that's when I decided, okay, I want to do this.
Yes.
And then, yeah, well, I'm not an interior designer.
Well,
I am
you sort
a
of are, though.
florist.
I mean, you are in that realm. You're just on the floral side of design, but you're
Right.
definitely in design. There's no doubt about it. So, lastly, we'll just do one more on that. If you could travel anywhere in the world, you said Holland.
Yes.
That's a pretty place. I've never been there, but I've seen.
Google,
I would like to travel there.
Google the Holland tulip farms. It looks like a rainbow.
Come on.
Yes.
I'm going to Google it. And y'all Google it too. Check
I mean,
that
it
out.
looks like a rainbow, especially right now because it's springtime.
Very good.
And that's one reason why I want to go. I want to go to those flower farms.
Well, I'm sure you'll make it there. And I'm going to Google that, actually. I'm going to check that out. I like looking at other places in the world. So thank you for coming on. Did you have fun?
Oh, I had so much fun. I love doing this, talking about my business and letting people know that I am here.
Yes.
Because I'm not local. So I am somebody new to the area.
Yes.
I've learned the area because I've been open for 18 months. We've been here since August of 20.
Yes.
But I still want my name to get out there, and I want people to know I am here and I am different and I have unique designs, and I can cater to almost everything you need.
Yes, so go see her, and they're definitely going to know you're here after this. We're going to blast it everywhere.
Oh, I hope so.
Very good. I do want to thank all the viewers and listeners of Local Leaders for your shares and likes of this podcast, the sponsors of the show for your continued support. I can't do any of this without all of you. And if you would like to sponsor or be featured on Local Leaders, please reach out to me at jim@localleaderspodcast.com. Until next time, I'm Jim Chapman reminding you, love your community, support local business just like Tenor Florals.
Yes, sir.
And keep leading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.